Joseph Nguyen's "Don't Believe Everything You Think" is a profound exploration of the human mind, rooted in the idea that much of our suffering stems from the thoughts we hold on to and the way we interpret them. The book offers an insightful perspective on how to free ourselves from mental patterns that perpetuate pain, anxiety, and dissatisfaction by challenging the automatic belief in our thoughts. At its core, Nguyen's message is that our minds create suffering not because life is inherently difficult, but because of how we process and interpret events through our thinking. The nature of thought and its role in suffering. Nguyen starts by identifying that human beings have a tendency to overthink, often giving too much weight to their thoughts. According to him, most people unconsciously live under the assumption that their thoughts are accurate reflections of reality. In other words, people tend to believe whatever crosses their minds, assuming their thoughts must be true simply because they have them. Nguyen argues that the human mind constantly generates thoughts, but not all of them are grounded in truth or reality. In fact, much of our thinking is influenced by conditioning, fears, desires, and societal expectations, which distort our perception of reality. The tendency to believe every thought leads to cycles of anxiety, depression, stress, and emotional suffering. Nguyen encourages readers to understand that thoughts are just mental constructs and not necessarily facts. By observing our thoughts without attachment, we can break free from this unconscious belief system that often drives our emotions. Nguyen draws parallels with ancient wisdom traditions such as Buddhism, which also emphasize the impermanence and illusory nature of thoughts. The realization that you are not your thoughts is one of the most powerful insights in the book. The problem with overthinking. A significant part of the book is dedicated to addressing overthinking, which Nguyen identifies as one of the primary causes of mental distress. Overthinking often stems from an internal need to control or fix a situation. However, this incessant mental activity rarely leads to peace or solutions. Instead, it creates mental clutter, confusion, and even more problems. Nguyen explains that people often overthink because they assume that their thoughts will help them solve problems. But in reality, overthinking tends to magnify issues rather than resolve them. The mind starts obsessing over hypothetical scenarios or worst-case outcomes, which leads to unnecessary worry and fear. By believing in the stories the mind tells, we end up caught in cycles of rumination. Instead of trying to outthink our way out of suffering, Nguyen suggests that we should allow our thoughts to come and go without attaching too much importance to them. He emphasizes that mental clarity arises not from thinking more, but from thinking less, and being fully present in the moment. Through mindfulness and awareness, we can create space between our thoughts and our sense of self. Breaking the thought-suffering cycle. Nguyen offers a practical approach to breaking the cycle of suffering caused by our thoughts. One of the key strategies he advocates is the practice of self-inquiry. This involves questioning the validity of our thoughts and asking whether they are truly reflective of reality. For example, if a person thinks, "I am not good enough," they can challenge this thought by asking themselves whether there is actual evidence to support it. More often than not, these self-critical thoughts are based on assumptions or past conditioning, not objective truth. By questioning the validity of thoughts, we can prevent them from controlling our emotions and actions. Nguyen suggests that just because a thought arises in the mind doesn't mean we need to accept it or let it define us. We can choose to detach from negative thinking patterns and consciously shift our focus toward more constructive or empowering beliefs. Another technique Nguyen advocates is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness allows us to observe our thoughts without judgment and without getting caught up in them. By cultivating mindfulness, we can become aware of when our minds are drifting into unhelpful thought patterns and gently redirect our attention back to the present moment. This practice helps to cultivate mental stillness, which can reduce the emotional charge that negative thoughts often carry. The illusion of control and letting go. A recurring theme throughout the book is the illusion of control. Nguyen explains that much of our mental suffering arises because we believe we can or should control every aspect of our lives. When things don't go as planned, we experience frustration, anxiety, or a sense of failure. However, the truth is that much of life is outside of our control, and our attempts to micromanage every detail only lead to more stress. Nguyen encourages readers to let go of the need for control and instead embrace uncertainty. Life is inherently unpredictable, and by accepting this reality, we can free ourselves from the constant need to think our way through every challenge. Letting go doesn't mean giving up or being passive. Rather, it's about recognizing that not everything requires our mental interference. This shift in mindset allows us to approach life with greater ease and flow. When we stop trying to control everything, we can respond to situations from a place of calm and clarity rather than from a state of reactivity. In this way, letting go becomes a powerful tool for reducing mental suffering and finding peace. Cultivating inner peace. One of the ultimate goals of Don't Believe Everything You Think is to help readers cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace. Nguyen argues that true peace doesn't come from external circumstances or achievements, but from our inner state of being. When we stop identifying with our thoughts and stop allowing them to dictate our emotions, we can tap into a wellspring of inner peace that is always available to us. This inner peace arises from the understanding that thoughts are fleeting and impermanent. By learning to witness our thoughts without getting attached to them, we can remain centered even in the face of challenges. Nguyen likens this to being the sky that observes the passing clouds. Our thoughts are like clouds that come and go, but our true essence, like the sky, remains unchanged. Nguyen's approach to inner peace is not about suppressing thoughts or emotions, but about changing our relationship to them. Rather than resisting or clinging to certain thoughts, we can learn to embrace them with compassion and non-attachment. This practice leads to a profound sense of freedom and equanimity. Conclusion. In Don't Believe Everything You Think, Joseph Nguyen provides a transformative guide to understanding the nature of thought and how it contributes to human suffering. By encouraging readers to question their thoughts, practice mindfulness, and let go of the illusion of control, Nguyen offers a path to greater mental clarity and emotional freedom. The book's central message is clear. Peace and happiness come not from changing external circumstances, but from changing how we relate to our own minds. By recognizing that we are not our thoughts, we can break free from the cycle of suffering and experience a more fulfilling, peaceful life.